Hey Bama, the Alabama versus Oklahoma matchup is considered a bad matchup according to Klatt. Strange or absurd? Let's analyze the news. Analyst Joel Klatt sparked a curious debate this week by stating that the Alabama versus Oklahoma matchup would be a really bad matchup for the Crimson Tide. It's a statement that sounds strange, almost absurd, when considering the recent history of the Tuscaloosa program and the consistency that Kalen DeBoer has been building in a short time. Klatt is a respected name in the college football scene, but his analysis inevitably raises questions about the extent to which the numbers explain what happens on the field, and to what extent they ignore what Alabama represents under pressure. Indeed, Oklahoma has a solid defense, especially in the pass rush. The Sooners are among the best in the country in sacks and lead the SEC in yards allowed per attempt. This is a noteworthy statistic that supports Klatt's argument that Alabama's main threat will come from the opposing defensive line. He's not wrong to point out that teams that pressure the quarterback tend to cause discomfort for the Tide. Simpson is still a developing quarterback, and Alabama's running game, ranked 14th in the conference, hasn't been able to alleviate that burden. But there's a clear difference between recognizing a deficiency and considering it a fatal vulnerability. Alabama hasn't reached this point in the season solely through talent, but through resilience. DeBoer's team is built to withstand physical games, adjust at halftime, and respond when the clock is ticking. Just remember what happened against LSU. The offense didn't shine, but the team did enough to win, controlling the pace and the defense doing its job when it mattered most. Klatt also highlighted that Alabama starts well and then dips at the end. This assessment is partly accurate, but incomplete. The Tide has alternated between dominant first halves and more conservative second halves, a trait that doesn't necessarily indicate weakness, but rather a more controlled strategy. DeBoer isn't a coach who takes unnecessary risks. He understands that, in the SEC, winning ugly is still winning. Klatt's argument gains strength when he mentions Alabama's history against mobile quarterbacks. It's true that Tommy Castellanos of FSU caused problems in the season opener, but the context of that game matters. It was the first game under DeBoer's new regime, and the defense was still assimilating the system. Since then, Alabama has significantly improved in containing the run and in defensive discipline. The adjustments made throughout the year show a maturing team, not a vulnerable group. When Klatt says he can't bet on Oklahoma winning outright, he ends up, perhaps unintentionally, reinforcing Alabama's essence. The Tide is the kind of team that resists the simple logic of statistics. Oklahoma might be a bad matchup on paper, but inside Bryant-Denny Stadium, where Alabama has won 17 straight games, the context changes completely. There, the weight of the uniform, the energy of the crowd, and mental preparation count as much as any number. It's hard to imagine Kalen DeBoer and his team feeling intimidated by a bad matchup label. This group has been playing with a sense of purpose and unity that transcends momentary weaknesses. The coach has already demonstrated that he can get the best out of his players in high-pressure scenarios. And this game, against a top 10 opponent, is exactly the kind of stage where Alabama usually reaffirms itself. The score suggested by Klatt, 24-21 for Alabama, sounds like an attempt to reconcile technical analysis with historical respect. And perhaps it's the closest to reality, a balanced duel, with the Tide being forced to find creative solutions to deal with Oklahoma's defense. But in the end, what separates Alabama from so many other programs is precisely this ability to find a way, the mentality of not bowing down to a supposed bad matchup. If Oklahoma represents a threat, bring it on. The Crimson Tide, as always, seems more interested in proving otherwise on the field than in answering analysts' soffit. And for those who have followed Alabama for a while, this has never been new, just the norm. Alabama has always been a program that transforms players into legends and moments into eternal memories. From Mark Ingram's running back against South Carolina in 2009 to Devonta Smith's game-winning pass over LSU in 2020, Heisman-worthy moments are part of the Crimson Tide's rich and vibrant history. These moments define not only careers but also narratives. And now, in 2025, Ty Simpson has a chance to write his own chapter in that saga. On Saturday, Bryant-Denny Stadium will host more than just a game against Oklahoma. It will be an opportunity for Simpson to show the world why he deserves to be remembered among Alabama's stars who have lifted the Heisman Trophy. He will face one of the best defenses in the SEC, a challenge many quarterbacks would find daunting, but one Simpson has embraced naturally. That's why we play football, he said Tuesday, echoing something that goes beyond simply wearing the red and white uniform. It's about creating legacies. So far, Simpson has been consistent and efficient, completing 66.9% of his passes, accumulating 2,461 yards, and throwing 21 touchdowns with only one interception. He has been the engine driving this Alabama team toward the college football playoffs. His ability to manage the game, combined with his skill in avoiding turnovers, is impressive. But numbers alone don't build stories. What Simpson lacks is that decisive moment that transcends tables and graphs, that instant when the entire country turns to watch and murmurs. That's the guy. The opportunity is right there in front of him, like an open field waiting for an explosive touchdown. The game against Oklahoma isn't just another matchup on the calendar. It's a national showcase, broadcast on ABC, where Simpson can confront the best defense in the conference and prove he belongs in the conversation among the biggest names in college sports. Kalen DeBoer, Alabama's visionary coach, knows this. He has been preparing his quarterback since the beginning of the season, shaping him for games exactly like this. Simpson's continued presence in Tuscaloosa, even amidst transfer speculation, demonstrates his conviction that this is where he can achieve ultimate glory. But the road there isn't easy. Other Heisman contenders are building their own narratives. Fernando Mendoza of Indiana already had his award-worthy moment when he led an epic drive against Penn State, finding Omar Cooper Jr. in the end zone to seal a thrilling victory. That kind of play, that kind of moment, is what defines the Heisman race. And Simpson is still pursuing his. However, there's something interesting about how Simpson got here. He didn't need to stay at Alabama. He could have left, sought other horizons. But he chose to stay, trusting in the process and DeBoer's vision. Now, that decision seems to be paying off. He's at the helm of a team poised for the playoffs, with an 8-1 record and a defense that perfectly complements his playing style. Still, he lacks that flash of individual genius that will put him at the top of the list. The game against Oklahoma could be exactly that. A strong defense, a pressurized environment, and a raucous crowd create the ideal conditions for Simpson to showcase his true greatness. If he can lead Alabama's offense to a convincing victory, especially with plays that defy logic and physics, he will be taking the necessary step to enter the final conversation for the Heisman Trophy. There's something special about a player who embraces the moment when all eyes are on him. Simpson has the chance to do that this weekend. He has the chance to become more than just a good quarterback. He can become a symbol of what it means to play under the shadow of the elephant. For Alabama, these moments are more than individual wins. They are pieces of history, bricks that build the wall of tradition that the program represents. So, as the clock ticks down the minutes to kickoff, the question hangs in the air. Will Ty Simpson have his Heisman-worthy moment? Will he guide Alabama to an unforgettable victory against Oklahoma, solidifying his place among the greats of the Crimson Tide? The stage is set, the cameras are rolling, and the world of college football is watching. It remains to be seen if Simpson will be ready to step up his role as the star. Julio Jones' legacy at Alabama transcends statistics and records. He's not just a landmark name in the program's history, but also a living bridge between the beginning of the Nick Saban era and the present day, where young talents like Ryan Williams are trying to write their own stories. When Jones committed to the Crimson Tide in 2007, he brought with him something more than physical ability. He represented the hope of a renaissance for Alabama on the national stage. Today, even after his retirement, his influence continues to be felt both on and off the field. Jones' career at Alabama was marked by impressive numbers: 179 receptions, 2,653 yards, and 15 touchdowns. But his impact goes far beyond that. He was one of the pillars that helped lay the foundation for the Nick Saban dynasty, bringing to the program a visibility and credibility that resonates to this day. And now, decades later, seeing him interact with the next generation of players is proof that the cycle of success is alive and well in the heart of the state of Alabama. Ryan Williams, currently in his second year with the Crimson Tide, has been one of the main beneficiaries of this connection. It's no wonder he cites Jones as a constant reference. After all, both share deeply intertwined roots. They're sons of Alabama, from the same zip code, 251, and carry the weight of expectations of those who grew up under the red mantle of the Crimson Tide. For Williams, talking to Jones isn't just an opportunity to learn techniques or adjust routes. It's a reminder that he's part of something bigger, a lineage of great receivers who started on the same ground where he trains daily. He plays like it's his last play, Williams said of Jones, capturing in a few words the essence of what makes the former wide receiver so special. That tireless mentality, that absolute commitment on every play, is what differentiates the good from the truly legendary. And that's exactly what Williams seeks to incorporate into his own game. Although physically they are different, Williams is about 18 kilos lighter. Intensity and determination are qualities that transcend physical measurements. These are attributes that can be learned, internalized, and applied. It's impossible not to draw parallels between the initial trajectories of Jones and Williams. In Jones' second season, he had 43 receptions for 596 yards and 4 touchdowns. Now, Williams is following a similar path with 36 receptions, 528 yards, and the same 4 touchdowns. Obviously, there's still a long way to go, and Williams knows this better than anyone. All the work I've been doing so far has paid off to a certain extent, he said, acknowledging the progress, but also the need to continue evolving. The comparison with Julio Jones is inevitable, but it's also an incentive. For Williams, reaching or surpassing Jones' legacy is not just a personal ambition, but a way to honor the program that brought them together. Furthermore, Jones' presence in the locker room and in informal conversations demonstrates something crucial about Alabama's culture. Here, the past nurtures the future. The program's icons don't disappear when they leave the field. They continue to contribute, whether as mentors, role models, or simply as voices that echo through the hallways of the training center. It is this continuity that keeps Alabama competitive year after year, regardless of changes in the college football landscape. While Kalen DeBoer leads the team in pursuit of new achievements, the shadow of Julio Jones looms like a silent blessing. His success in the NFL, 914 receptions, 13,703 yards, and 66 touchdowns over 13 seasons, serves as a constant reminder that Alabama is not just a talent factory, but a place where champions are forged. And if Ryan Williams can channel that in-play mentality he so admires in Jones, there's no doubt he can follow in his mentor's footsteps, perhaps even adding new chapters to the already rich history of the Crimson Tide. Bama isn't just about wins or titles. It's about creating a legacy that transcends generations, connecting the past to the present and paving the way for the future. And as long as names like Julio Jones and Ryan Williams continue to be part of this narrative, the show will remain strong. Comment,